Hello everyone, this is Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. Hope everyone is doing okay today. And damn it, I forgot to send out a tweet that was going live. Either way, I hope people would find their way here. And I'm going to send out a tweet real quick. I'm sorry. I'll edit this part out. Yeah, guys, I hope everyone is doing okay today. Before we get too far into history, and just to put a pin in something else, Abby Martin is going to be on the show in June. I think it's June 2nd, but I'll be more specific the closer we get to the date. That's amazing in and of itself, so a shout out to Abby Martin for saying yes. She said yes. Before we get too far in history, I want to put a pin in something, because I don't want this to be passed without people realizing the insanity that's currently taking place. Mueller does an investigation. Trump fires Comey. Democrats howl, oh my God! It proves that he's colluding with Russia. Why else would he fire the crooked attorney who said he was doing an investigation of his political opponent but wasn't actually doing an investigation of a political opponent? Why on earth would he fire a crony of the Clinton team? Or that act as if he was a crony of the Clinton team? Why would he do that? Mueller gets pulled in. Mueller gets pulled in not because they have any real evidence on Donald Trump colluding with Russia. He gets pulled in for political reasons. But whatever. The theater is that Trump colluded with Russia and we need a special prosecutor to do it. Mueller goes on for like 2 years. You hear one little bit out of him in these press releases, but really nothing concrete. People like me have come out and said, this is nonsense. This is farce. You have nothing on this, and not just have nothing on this, you're politically motivated to do this, and the media is politically motivated or monetarily motivated to cover it. Not to mention their own political ideology is kind of wrapped around this thing that they hate Donald Trump. He continuously called them fake news. And you could see a clear bias against Trump. And I don't like Trump. And you can still see the clear bias in the media. If you turn on CNN right now, I would almost guarantee you that it's going to be something about Donald Trump. I can almost promise you. I've made the point that this is nonsense. That all of these people are motivated in one way or another to push for this particular narrative. And they have nothing on this narrative. And something comes out. You hear a peep out of Mueller. Mueller says, we are going to indict 13 Russians. We found 13 Russians that we can put into this. We're going to indict 13 Russians. And all the hereabouts howled, yes! Yes! I knew it! I knew it. Because in their minds, it was the Russians that prevented our country from having the luxury of Hillary Clinton as commander-in-chief and president of the United States. Bastards, those Russians. How dare they? And now we have this honorable man, this honorable gentleman that sold the country the Iraq War, Mueller, attesting to such. Now, the catch with this is, let's look into that. Now, I want to put a pin in this because this case has started to go to court. Now, what Mueller knew when he called this, or what he expected, is that this case would never go to court. I would get this headline. Yes, I would get this big splashy headline to affirm my existence, that there's something here. But I also know that the people who I am saying that I'm going to throw these indictments on were not in the United States. And as such, those people would never show up to court. So I get the headline without ever actually having to go to trial. All of these people who've been screaming that Russia has something to do with it. Yes! She didn't lose on her own merits. I knew. I just knew. As they weep and as they say on the corners, I knew that Russia had something to do with it. I knew that there was no way for this woman to lose to reality show hosts. I knew it. And Mueller has just told me so. This case has gone to trial. The prosecutor in this case was entirely unprepared for the defense to say, hey, actually, we want to actually contest this trial. I understand that you believe that we were in Russia and that we were going to just turn a blind eye to this. But no, we would like to contest this trial. And not just contest this trial. We want to see the evidence that's being used against us. Meaning, we need you to open the books on the stuff that you have not been telling the public. We want to see it. If you're going to bring this to trial, it is our constitutional right to see what you have that you're using against us. What do you got? The prosecution says we need to delay this trial. Now, imagine the ridiculousness of the prosecutor bringing the case and then the prosecutor himself saying we have to delay this trial. Because the truth of the matter is they had no expectation that anybody was ever going to come to contest this case. They thought they can get the headline without ever necessarily needing to actually do the work. What will likely happen in this is that they would dismiss this case because they don't want to show what they have, meaning what they have is bupkis. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm going to let other lawyers explain this in a better way. But that's what it boils down to. This is The Hill. And I read this and I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. And so I started looking further into it and it gets insane. So this is Mueller team seeks delay in indictment case. What? What do you mean they seek a delay? They bought the case. How are you seeking a delay in the case that you bought? You bought this case. Prosecutors on special counsel Robert Mueller's team are asking a judge to delay the first count hearing in a criminal case against 13 Russian nationals and 3 Russian entities, according to the court documents filed Friday. In the filings, prosecutor asked to push back an initial appearance and arraignment of the case, set to take place next week, until the court decides whether or not one of the company's Concord management was properly served by the summons. Now, this is not the defense saying, well, wait a minute, we weren't properly served, so we need to push the case back. A delaying tactic that the defense might use for technicalities. This is the prosecution saying this. We don't know if we properly served them, so we want to push back the case. These are the indictments that all of these Democrats and Hillbots are saying have such credibility. Such credibility that he can't even bring the goddamn case. And like I said, the reality of it is Mueller never expected this case to come about. Don't take my word for it. Even the Hill comes out sick. It's unlikely that the individuals charged in the case will ever appear in court. The companies were also largely expected to ignore the proceedings. But the motion revealed that lawyers for Concord Management made a series of discovery requests seeking records, including statements and electronic surveillance of the company executives and employees from Mueller's investigation. Do you get what's taking place? The companies are saying, no, we want to contest this. And not just contest this, we want to use our constitutional rights to figure out what the prosecution has. Meaning, you can't bring secret documents into court. What do you have on us? What do you have on us? What are the things that you're saying that you're using in order to bring up this case and bring these indictments? What do you got, Mueller? What do you got? You've been hiding this from everybody else. Everybody wants to know what you got. Well, we're in court. You can't hide it from us if you're going to try to indict us. What do you got? Show your hand. Prosecution response. Yeah, we need more time. We need more time. I love this. I love this. This is also indictment firm. Mueller trying to justify his own existence and indict a Russian, any Russian. That is what it looks like, right? That is what it looks like. A Monday court filing by Concord Management and Consulting report by CNN said Mueller was trying to justify his own existence in the charges and needed to indict a Russian, any Russian, for the Kremlin's purported interference in the 2016 presidential election. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein had rejected the history and integrity of the Department of Justice and instead licensed a special counsel who, for all practical purposes, cannot be fired to indict a case that has absolutely nothing to do with links or coordination between the candidate and the Russian government, Concord wrote in its filings, echoing claims made by the Trump administration. Mueller has indicted 3 Russian corporations and 13 persons, but only Concord has yet to respond in court. The company is charged with a conspiracy charge related to its use of social media before the election, which the company calls a make-believe crime, and said it would ask for dismissal. Concord also asked a federal judge to examine the instructions Mueller gave to the grand jury. And just so we're very clear on what we're talking about, Facebook and Twitter ads. All of this, all of the drama, all of the pageantry, all of the circus, all of the show, all of the Democrats wringing their hands, all of this is about Facebook and Twitter ads, 56% of which took place after the election. This is nonsense. Please tell me you understand this is nonsense. There are some Democrats out there that need this. They wake up in the morning inhaling anything that would tell them something closer that brings Trump and Russia closer together. And for 2 years, they found nothing. And the thing that they've been sucking at the tit on, holding on with their fingernails to the ledge on anything that they can get on, the life-sustaining essence of Mueller, Facebook and Twitter ads. And it's falling apart in court because the prosecution is not even ready to bring a case, because the prosecution never thought it would have to bring a case. This is theater. This is nonsense. This is complete and utter nonsense. This is Mike Papantonio. He's American's lawyer. I love the way they call it, American's lawyer. Listen to what these guys are saying about this. This is amazing. I didn't know anything about this. I'm not a defense attorney, so why would I? But listen to this.
Joining me now to talk about this is Steve Malzberg, talk show host and political analyst. Steve, start by telling us what those 16 indictments from February were about. Give us the background on that.
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. In your introduction, you made so many great points. This was Mueller and company saying, hey, big announcement, indictments, the evil Russians. We have 13 individuals. One of them is very, very close to Putin. We have 3 companies, and they're charged with all kinds of things, including information warfare, conducting information warfare against the United States by taking fake personas out on social media, on internet media, troll farms, all these catchphrases that make it sound very evil, and they would basically there to sow political discontent in the United States. And, big announcement. None of those people involved were in the United States. None of them had any plans to come to the United States. This was going to be a kind of a name and shame, as I guess in the legal profession they like to say, a name and shame indictment where, nobody shows up, but just by implication, you're ruined and you're guilty.
Think how smart this is, though, Steve. Here, if you're a defense lawyer, you understand that already Mueller is trying to hold back some of the FBI information, some of the hidden information that everybody's trying to get to. Mueller's trying to hold back. He can't go forward with these indictments without some of that information. If you're the defense lawyer, you're arguing, wait just a second. You've charged my client with a crime. And being charged with a crime, he has a right to all of the information. You'd make a request for that information, a request for discovery. And if Mueller says no to anything, you know what happens to the indictments? They go away. Very clear constitutional right to confront your accusers. And when you ask for that information that Mueller's, that everybody's trying to get to, everybody wants this information. Part of it ties in to these indictments, I promise you. Look, when Concord Management had their lawyers show up in court, do you think that the prosecutors were ever expecting anything to happen like the defense lawyers showing up and saying, hey, we want our day in court? What's your take on that, Steve?
Absolutely not. Like I said, this was supposed to be just a kind of a PR, I don't want to call it a stunt, but a PR event announcing the indictments, and then that would be the end of it. But when Concord sent 2 lawyers to court and started demanding their rights to all the information that Mueller had. They want the grand jury instructions read back to them in public, in open court. They want their right to a speedy trial. They're complaining that Mueller's not being forthcoming and handing over the information they've requested. Some of it is in Russian. They want it translated from Russian. I'm telling you, this is a nightmare for Mueller and his team.
That's amazing. That's fucking amazing. There's some times where you look at the Constitution and you say to yourself, yeah, that's a good thing. And I say that to mean Mueller and these guys wanted to have all of this information kept secret while at the same token being able to. There's a Russian. That Russian over there. Yeah, that guy did it. That guy did it. That guy put a Facebook and Twitter ad out. Let's get him. Now, the ridiculousness of this being a Facebook and Twitter ad in and of itself, it's magnificently stupid. And yet, they go along with it. But the fact that these guys have came to court and said, my client wants his day in court, goddammit, and I want to know everything that you got, and I want all of this stuff read out so the public can hear all of it. If we're going to have a show trial, goddammit, let's have a show trial. This is amazing. So this is what is currently taking place with regards to the 13 Russian trolls, or troll farms, quote unquote troll farms, and Mueller's investigation. The thing's falling apart. I mean, in one case, I think I said this before, the judge was being extraordinarily skeptical of what Mueller was talking about, and even kind of put a pin in it and say, ultimately, you're bringing this case because you want to go after Donald Trump. Let's be honest. You don't really have anything. This is what's taking place in court. This is show. This is our show. Yeah, this is our show. Jamal putting in some work, a lot of videos the last couple of days. I put in a lot of videos every day, with the exception of maybe a weekend. Hillary Clinton should be in jail, Piano Man. It's all backfiring like Hillary Clinton's plans, Piano Man. It's backfiring, but Jesus Christ, man. I mean, it's... This Russia nonsense has been going on, for 2 years? Now, there's stuff in Hillary Clinton's thing going all the way back from the Clinton emails, all the way back to 2015, say use Putin against Trump. And that's effectively what's taking place. And the media and everybody else has kind of ran with it. And the wild part about it is, the media runs with it because it's, let's be honest, they hate Donald Trump. And at the end of the day, they have somewhat of a political bias to want things to be back to status quo. And Donald Trump is not, at least from the standpoint of his mannerisms and the things that he say, the status quo that they're comfortable with and that they like. Even though he's just a Republican in the way that he governs, what he says bothers. He says bad things about us. We don't like that. And even from the standpoint of the amount of cash that they make, the networks themselves make a lot of money off of Trump because they love him or hate him. People like seeing them, or they really hate seeing them. Both of those things are profitable endeavors. And the people themselves, the Democrats, they can't understand. They fundamentally can't understand why she lost. They can't get it through their heads. They didn't understand why she was going to lose up until the day of the election, and they don't quite understand how she lost now. It helps them greatly. It assuages their paradigm of the world to have some foreign element lurking behind the scenes, lurking through the bushes, hiding in the sewers. The Ruskies are out to get him. The Ruskies are out to get him. These Russiagate cultists have dug a hole too deep they can't climb out. People have adopted this conspiracy into their identities, and nobody likes attacks on their identity. Yes. But people accept that stuff into their identities just willy-nilly. I mean, it's not... Like, the moment a person says yes, they cognitively accept something. Oftentimes, they protect and defend that thing. It's an odd quirk in human beings. I am bad at this. Well, yeah, you've just accepted that you're bad at this, as opposed to I've been bad at XYZ for the last 2 times. There's a difference in those things. We do accept things within regards to our identities, and we start to defend the things that we accept. A person is a Democrat and a Republican, and it goes beyond just the political identities or the policies. They latch onto those things. Just another Russian distraction from the real reason why she lost the election. But hey, Harvard gave her an award. Congrats, Hillary, you gave us Trump. Thanks. Mike Fagan. Bo like a leopard. Jamal, open the phone lines. I want this video to be short. I'm not going to open the phone lines. I want this one to be short. John B. Pat, check his video from yesterday. Okay. John B. Like the United States doesn't interfere with anything they do. How many governments have we illegally invaded or overthrown? And worse, yeah. I mean, that's like I can't imagine. I don't quite understand. This thing, 20 years ago, we obliterated a country. Obliterated. A few years ago, we obliterated a country. All of these things were done on humanitarian reasons. Oh, we're helping the poor Iraqis. We love the Iraqis so much. We're helping the poor Libyans. We love the Libyans so much. We love the Syrians. We love the Syrians. Yes, we're paying rapists and terrorists. That's exactly what we're doing, and we're calling them moderates. But we love those people so much. We love them. We just want to give them our bombs and our munitions and our bullets fired out of rifles. Yeah, I don't want to hear shit from anybody about, well, the United States, where Russia did this and that's wrong. Yeah, we do this shit too. Steve, I challenged my never Trump brother to prove Russians helped Trump. He said Trump Jr. met with a Russian lawyer and Trump had a hotel in Azerbaijan. That was it. I couldn't believe it. I asked my best friend, I said, why do you think this took place? Now, there were two things that took place. He came in and he said, he brought up the Trump-Russia stuff. And I said, you don't believe that that's why she lost? No. I don't think that's why she lost. All right. Then why is that the first thing you're telling me? Well, Trump Jr. met with a lawyer. That always comes up. And then and Trump asked for Russia's to hack Hillary Clinton. He said hack her more. And I said, but you understand that that's not the same thing as collusion, right? That's not him interacting with Russia in that way. Trump could say whatever he wants on the campaign. It's a different thing when you're interacting. Yeah, but Trump Jr. met with the lawyer. I know, and I get that too, but that's not really showing a collusion between the two. Not just that, what is he doing that gets across this thing that these two are working in coordination? There's nothing. I have undercover phone conversation with Matt. No shit. Are you serious? We're going to have to do that on another video. Yeah. Let's make that a specific video. I don't want to fuck around with these two videos because they're going to be two separate things. But Bo Like a Leopard, we'll get together on that. The beauty of irony when people who overthrew governments around the world now coming home to roost. Right. It's like you overthrew governments and you're like, how dare they add Facebook and Twitter ads? How dare they? Yeah, dude, I'll email you. That's fucking awesome, though. We can make a separate video on that one. We'll make a separate video. All right. This one is 22 minutes. A lot of this was me fucking around with my audience, so I'm going to end it here. But this case is falling apart. Now, the question becomes, does Mueller just say, I'm done. Just say, fuck it, I'll drop the charges. And imagine if he drops, imagine that day. I don't like Donald Trump. But God knows I'm going to be stalking his Twitter account on that day. If Mueller comes out and drops the charges and Donald Trump comes out, I told you there was nothing there. This is a political hit job. They've been coming after the president of the United States. He will be flipping out. I'm going to love to see that day. I am going to be following HA's and Twitter thing like nobody's business on that day because that is going to be joyous to watch. That is going to be fucking hilarious to watch. Oh, man, Piano Man, I'll celebrate when it happens. I just think it's going to be funny. There's no celebration. I just think it's going to be fucking hilarious. Trump is going to be like a fucking gorilla. It's like, let me out of this White House. I need to tell the world some insane shit about how they're coming after me. Yeah, that's going to be fucking hilarious. That's going to be utterly hilarious. Yeah. Absolute reigns and conquers. Democrats just can't admit that they suck so much that they lost to the host of The Apprentice. I'm going to end it on that. Yeah, because that's what it is. I mean, honestly, all of that is what it is. They cannot understand why. And look, I get it. Democrats go after like this top 10% crust. And if you're doing okay, if you're kind of plucking along in the world, you might think everybody else is like you. It's like, oh, everybody's in this nice office park. Everybody is in that nice building. I mean, everybody works as an engineer or software. The world is great. The world is utterly great. She's an awesome person. She's going to keep this ticking along for me. Completely missing that there's an 80% out there that is struggling. That is utterly struggling. And they hate your guts because you don't necessarily understand that their reality exists. And when somebody else comes up angry representing all of the anger and hatred in the country itself, not because all of the people are brutally racist. I suspect that people become more racist when they believe their things are in jeopardy. But nevertheless, they find somebody who represents their anger, and those people say no. It's not that they love what he was doing. Do you honestly believe that this rabid bunch of Republicans is really what the American public wants? No, it was a no vote. It was a we don't like you. No, we don't like what this goes. We don't like what this is. We don't like what you represent. We don't want this to persist in the way it has been persisting. That last guy told us it was hope and change, and now you're coming in telling us you have some other new deal or we're happy to be with you. No. No. If the shit needs to burn, the shit needs to burn, but it stops. No. And they threw a brick through the window of the way things are. And that brick is named Donald Trump. I don't particularly like Donald Trump. Let me say it this way. I hated to see Donald Trump take office. Love to see Hillary Clinton lose. And yes, both of those things can exist together, even though they were running towards each other. So I'm going to end it here. Mueller case is falling apart. This case is falling apart. So I will leave it on this. Thank you guys for showing up. I may have a show or two after this. In fact, I will have a show or two after this. So I'll see you guys shortly. Thanks, everyone.